Are you not finishing your tracks? This is a huge issue for music producers of all genres, and not just in the licensing business, for those that are making beats, those that are trying to make tracks for themselves, for their own bands, or for themselves as an artist. Not finishing what you started in terms of a song, a track, a cue, it doesn't matter what you're working on, is probably one of the biggest motivation killers in the music business. And it's all starting with you. It's all caused by you. So this is sort of a self-sabotage habit that you might have developed over months or years of letting yourself off the hook and being okay, maybe not being okay, but allowing yourself to sort of not finish your songs. And I would say if you have over 25% of the songs that you've ever created, meaning more than 1 out of 4 songs that you create are not getting finished, okay? So about 75% of the music that you start, you maybe get halfway through, maybe even 75% of the way through, and then you either don't know where to go with it, or you just don't know how to finish it. You're not really sure, so you keep adding things, but the more you add, the worse it gets. So you end up just sputtering out and quitting your DAW and just leaving that one aside. Whatever the issue is, you're just not hitting bounce. You're not going to file, clicking bounce and going boom and typing in final mix on the MP3 or the wave. If you're not doing that for more than 25% of the songs that you're starting, there's a problem. There's a big problem, okay? This is what happens. Now, we were just talking about this with the syndicate members a couple days ago. What happens is you basically, by allowing yourself, even though I know you're not happy that you do this, but allowing yourself to not hit bounce, to sort of not finish the track, even if you're not in love with it, just feeling that, not feeling it anymore, let me just start a new one. And you kind of leave the sort of bones of this one just laying around, and it's not a completed thing. It's like it's a half animated Frankenstein just sitting, you know, on your hard drive basically. And you have all of these just strewed about all over your hard drive. And when you try to go back to them and complete them, you're just not feeling them anymore because it's been weeks or months or sometimes years since you had the initial inspiration for that song. So it's hard to tap back into that initial emotional state to finish the song, okay? What happens is you are now creating, when you do that repeatedly, like if you're doing that every single week or every month, you have unfinished tracks everywhere, you are creating a fatigue, a long-term fatigue that is going to be killing your motivation and your inspiration moving forward. Why? Because let's say you spend 2 full days on a track, which is probably even not a lot of time for some of you. Maybe some of you spend a full week on a track. But let's say 1 to 2 days is about where most producers spend on an instrumental cue, you know, not vocals. Vocals take a lot longer. But if it's just an instrumental cue and you've spent 1 or 2 days on a track and then you don't finish it, you just hit quit. You don't print it. Well, you just kind of wasted 2 days of your life. You really did, right? Because even if it wasn't your favorite track, at least if you had hit print on it, you've got something there, okay? You've got the end at the end of it, and you can actually send that track for a submission. You can possibly send it to a person to help remake it, or whatever you want to do with it. Submit it to a library, I don't know. But at least you have something, right? That you can say, this is something that I spent 2 days on. I've done the work. I'm ready to go, right? If you never hit bounce, what do you have? Well, you have a DAW session that looks probably like a mess. None of the tracks are probably named. It looks like just a jumbled puzzle, and it's not completed. What is that good for? Nothing. Literally nothing. Like, you might have learned something, I guess, as you went through that track, but you literally can't do anything with that session, you know, other than maybe send it to somebody else and have them finish it for you, and then they're going to take a cut of your writer share to help you with the production side of things, right? So in your head, when you're not finishing your tracks, you develop fatigue, because now you have a memory of, well, I'm capable of starting tracks and spending a day or two or maybe even a week on it and then not finishing it and literally wasting my time. I have a history, and a professional history, of wasting my own time. How excited do you think, even if your conscious brain is excited about this new song that you're going to make, don't you think that there's some memory back there, even if it's in your subconscious memory of, yeah, but you might not finish it because you kind of don't finish a lot of stuff. That's kind of what you do. That's sort of your thing. You just don't finish tracks. That really will eat at your productivity and your motivation moving forward over and over again. And if you're finding right now, you're kind of, I just don't know if I'm feeling like, I don't know, where's that energy and that fire in my belly to go make music? If you're lacking that right now, ask yourself this: are you always completing your tracks? And if you're not, this could be the issue. This could be the thing that actually is causing that fatigue, that sort of lack of motivation, sort of where is all my inspiration? Well, if you have a history of not finishing what you started, your brain could be trying to protect you. Your creative side of your brain could be saying, don't get started on that. You're not going to finish it. You never do, right? Or at least 50% of the time, you never do. So here's my challenge to you if this has been your issue. For the next 30 days, challenge yourself to just finish the damn track. Okay, this is a challenge that I'm also giving out to syndicate members because I think this is a universal across the board. Most producers have dealt with this at some point in their lives. I know that I did when I first got started. It was a big problem for me, starting tracks, not feeling them, and then just ditching them and having all these like half-finished tracks on my hard drive. I hated it. I absolutely hated it because I could never, it's like hoarding. I could never delete them, right? Because, well, maybe one day I'll do something, but it's like having that old shirt in your closet that you wore in, 1983. Maybe one day I'll have a use for that again. No, you're not. You're really not going to. It's never going to come back. So you might as well just delete those files, okay? So if this is your issue and you want to get out of that cycle of not finishing tracks, the only way to do that is I challenge you for the next 30 days, just finish everything you start. Okay? I don't care if you don't love it. I don't care if it's not your most favorite track. I don't care if you hate it. If you hate the track, that's okay. That's not the point of this. The point is not to, you don't have to love every track that you create, but you have to finish every track that you create. Now, how do you know if it's finished if you just don't love it? Well, I always say that if it's going to be a licensable track, and that's really what my channel here is about. It's not necessarily about artist music or anything else, but to know that a track is ready to go in terms of is it in the format to be licensed, even if it's not a great track. Well, basically you want to give that sort of roller coaster of dynamics, right? You want to have a sort of maybe an intro that leads us up into a big chorus. You want to break us back down into another verse or a breakdown, rise us back up to an even bigger chorus or a different chorus that has new instruments, new leads, right? Every time you repeat a section, you should have something new going on. So if an editor or a supervisor were to use your track, they could have different sections they could cut to, but the track needs to flow. It needs to have a nice emotional pull, a specific emotional pull. You should be able to instantly, from second one, basically know what is the emotion of this track, where could it be placed, what kind of a scene is it calling for, right? Not being nebulous, not being in the middle of 3 or 4 different sounds, and not going like from a verse that's kind of like somber and sad to a chorus that's nice and happy, and then going to a bridge that's like tension and angry. No, we don't need to be going into all these different worlds. We need to stay in one world, one very specific world, and deliver all types of that one particular emotion. Okay, that's what you need to do. And then put a finish on it, okay? Hit it, get that last nice definitive ending with a kick and a crash cymbal and a root chord, and bam, boom, that's the end. And loop out your track and bounce. And then type it in, final bounce, final mix, final MP3. I don't care what you call it a final thing. And therefore, boom, now you have something, an actual file, and you're gonna get this sense of, all right, it wasn't my favorite track, it wasn't the best thing I've ever done, but you know what? I finished the damn thing. And that's what I didn't do before. I used to just give up on this stuff, and now I'm just gonna finish that. Do this for just 30 days, okay? And it doesn't matter how many tracks you get done, even if you get any of them placed or even do anything with them, if they ever spend or ever get you any money or earn you any income, that's not the point of this, okay? The point is not to earn income with this music. The point is to change your workflow, okay? So if you're at a point right now where you have no motivation, or you just have tons of half-finished tracks and you're just kind of tired of that, you need to put yourself through boot camp, okay? So take this challenge and dedicate yourself to it. You need to make the commitment to yourself, not to me, okay? To yourself. You are ultimately the one who holds yourself accountable for your career. This is your career we're talking about. This is your livelihood. This is your passion. This is your dream to be able to do this full time. And if you have this big problem of lacking motivation, not finishing tracks, start with that. That's the one thing you can control. You can't control if a library takes your tracks. You can't control even if you get placements within a library. You can't control any of that. What you can control today, right now, is your own work habits, how you're actually treating yourself, how you're committing to make sure you are always raising your standards and trying something new, right? If it's not working, whatever you're doing right now, if it's not working, why wouldn't you take this challenge, right? What do you got to lose? You have really absolutely nothing to lose. And I guarantee you, if you successfully can do this, right? Let's say it's only 3 tracks you do in the next 30 days, but you complete all of them, and you hadn't done that before, right? You maybe start 10 tracks and you never finished any of them. You are going to start develop a new muscle memory, a new history of producing music, where your mind and your subconscious eventually will start to assume, yeah, we can start a new track because guess what? We're the guy that finished it. We finished the track, okay? one thing I was saying to the members is that most producers start tracks and don't finish them. And that's why they're not professionals, okay? They make probably great music when they can deliver it and they can finish it. But most producers, if it's just for fun and they're motivated and they're just feeling it, yes, they can go. And then when they sort of hit that roadblock, they just go play video games or go watch Netflix. That's what 95% of producers do. And if you don't want to do this professionally, don't worry about this, okay? Don't think this challenge, this is not for you. But I know that you're probably watching my channel, watching these videos because you have a higher ambition for yourself. You actually want to do this full time. So don't be like 95% of most producers who just go until they hit their little roadblock and then they just lose their motivation and quit. You got to be better than that. It doesn't take a lot more to get through that little hump, and this challenge can maybe help you get there, okay? But you got to be better than most producers that are not doing this. So I hope this challenge is useful and engaging. I'm going to check in with you guys in 30 days, and I want to really find out actually if this challenge really worked out for you. I do think you're going to see some incredible motivation, some heightened sense of productivity with this. And this is definitely one of those fake it till you make it operations, okay? You might not feel like finishing the track that you're working on because you're like, I just don't like this track. Fake it, okay? Who cares what you like? Who cares what you don't like? Again, that is not the point of this. The point of this is to create a new workflow and a new habit and a new expectation for yourself, okay? This is you raising your professional standards for yourself and what you are allowing yourself to get away with. You are, for the next 30 days, not allowing yourself to give up on a track. You are going to finish it. Even if it never turns into anything, even if you never earn a dime from it, you know that in the long run, this is going to be great for your productivity and for raising your standards for yourself. That's what this challenge is all about. Please share this video if you know another producer who's struggling, who's not feeling like they're finding that energy and that natural inspiration. We all get there. Trust me, I'm still, 10 years in this business. I still hit those moments of, I have a cloud over my head. I don't feel like creativity going. We all need to pick me up once in a while. We all need something to just kind of get us back on the horse. This challenge is hopefully for those of you that are facing that. So if you know a producer friend, a musician friend who's kind of in a dark spot, or maybe just tell them, hey, check out this video when you are in a dark spot. This is a good thing to just have in your back pocket and remind yourself of what you can do to challenge yourself to raise your standards.